My husband shoved my 7-year-old daughter into the dirt. She fell, scraped her knee, and started crying. He laughed and said, "Well, aren't you clumsy?" His mother nodded. "Don't cry. It's your own fault. I didn't make a scene. I did this." 2 days later, my husband and his parents were calling nonstop in a full-blown panic. I'm Holly, 34, accountant at a law firm. My life: budgets, spreadsheets, deadlines. Structured, color-coded, balanced to the penny. I'm the kind of person who writes by toothpaste in my planner, right under email Cheryl back, and don't forget to be nice to yourself. Spoiler: that last one rarely gets checked off. I have a daughter, Amelia. She's 7. She's this little beam of sunlight in sneakers. Curious, gentle, endlessly imaginative. She knows every dinosaur with a name ending in raptor or saurus. She tells wild stories where she saves everyone. Sea turtles, Lego cops, strangers at the supermarket. She loves her dad. A lot. And that's probably the hardest part of this story. My husband is Andrew. I'm wife number 2. He came with 2 sons, Benjamin, 11, and William, 9. We met at a preschool event. He forgot to return the lion costume. I helped him out. Things went from there. Every weekend his boys came over. And every weekend I lost my husband. He turned into fun dad. Garage snacks, laser tag, secret bases in the shed, kart racing on Saturdays. Meanwhile, Amelia tried to squeeze herself into their world. She told jokes, offered toys, begged to be included. Mostly she got, "You're too little. You don't get it. It's not for you." I talked to Andrew. Calmly. Patiently. "Just bring her in a little," I said. "She watches you like you hung the moon." He'd nod. Smile. Then do absolutely nothing. If he talked to the boys at all, it was something like, "Don't be mean to Amelia, but if she inserts herself, you don't have to play with her." One time I snapped. Ben called her a crybaby and I stepped in. Andrew heard, walked over, and said coldly, "Don't interfere with my kids." Boundaries. They only exist when it's about me, apparently. He jumps at any text from his ex, Jenna. Pickups, drop-offs, missed recitals, last-minute family BBQs. They're friends. They have mature co-parenting. Next to that, I look like the petty one. Cute. His parents? Oh, the full suburban set. Flag on the porch. Framed photos of the boys everywhere. And that subtle but not so subtle belief that Amelia isn't quite real family. Especially since she's not from Jenna. The boys are pride and joy. Amelia is extra. I ignored it for a long time. Well noticed, obviously. But tried to smooth it over. Told myself it's just a phase. That love takes effort, and family is work. That they're just kids. He's their dad. She's his mom. That was before that weekend. We went to his parents' place. Another family gathering. Big house. Trimmed lawn. Tree swing. Apple pie in the oven. And that quiet tension in the air, when you know you weren't really invited. The boys were running wild. Andrew laughed with them. Amelia sat on the windowsill in her pink hoodie with the kitten on it, her favorite, and watched them pass her like she was behind glass. I told Andrew, "Bring her along too." Just that. No drama. No fight. He gave me that look like I was being difficult again, but then waved and said, "Amelia, you coming?" She jumped down so fast she dropped her book. "Really? I can." Her eyes lit up. And damn it, I nearly choked. They went out back. His parents have this big backyard with overgrown bushes and old patio stones his dad keeps saying he'll fix. The boys grabbed their laser blasters. Andrew got them a whole set last Christmas. For bonding. Even his dad joined in. Amelia picked the smallest one. It blinked blue, then died. I stood at the window, pretending to dry my hands. No one noticed me watching. And I'm glad they didn't. Because I don't think I could have explained the look on my face. They split into teams. No one wanted Amelia. They stuck her with her dad like, "You brought her in, you deal with it." At first it looked like a game. Then it didn't. "You ruined it again," Ben shouted when Amelia darted past their hiding spot, apparently messing up the tactic. "What are you, blind?" his dad snapped. Will dramatically stepped out from cover and shouted, "I'm not playing if she's on my team." She slows everything down. Amelia just stood there, confused, like she couldn't quite figure out what she did wrong. I didn't mean to. I couldn't hear her, but I saw the words on her lips. Andrew's dad waved it off. "Don't whine. You want to play with the boys, tough it out." She kept trying. God, she tried so hard. She picked up a stick, ran, ducked behind a rock, stood up too slow. Those little sneakers with the torn tongue. I kept meaning to toss them. Her cheeks were flushed, her hair matted with sweat, and she kept looking at Andrew, searching for his eyes. Waiting for some kind of nod. A smile. Anything. All she got was a sharp wave of his hand. Move it. You're making us lose. And then he shoved her. He'll say later it wasn't on purpose. She got in the way. He was trying to save the team. But she didn't just stumble. She fell. Hard. Right into wet, uneven dirt, weeds and all. Her knees swelled instantly. And she cried. Not that whiny, performative cry. Real crying. Because it hurt. Andrew laughed. Wow. Way to be graceful. His dad snorted. You fall, you get up. Or go help Grandma in the kitchen. The boys cracked up. And his mom, oh, the picture of compassion, added, still eating her strawberries. Don't cry. It's your own fault for getting in the way. No one moved. No one comforted her. I don't know how long I stood there. Then I walked outside. Quiet. Calm. Picked her up off the ground. Her muddy little hands wrapped around my neck. Her face was streaked with tears and dirt. What are you doing? Andrew looked at me like I'd interrupted a military operation. She wanted to play. I told you this isn't for her. I didn't say a word. I just looked at him. And if looks could cut concrete, he'd have fallen straight into the crawl space, blaster and all. Inside, his mom clucked her tongue and said, See, sweetheart? You should have helped me in the kitchen instead of playing silly games. You're a girl. I carried Amelia to the bathroom. Sat with her on the edge of the tub. Washed her knee. Put on a Band-Aid. She didn't cry anymore. She just looked up and asked, Mom, was I really ruining it? I tried so hard. And that's the moment something in me cracked. Not from pain. From helplessness. Because I couldn't unwrite what had just been written into her memory. That tone. That look from her dad. Not love, not pride. Just irritation. I knew he'd come later. Say, you're overreacting. It was just a game. You always take things too personally. And maybe I do. Especially when it's about my kid. I didn't scream. Didn't throw dishes. Didn't stage a dramatic exit. I made a decision. 2 days later, he was calling. So was his mom. His dad. Non-stop. But by then, everything was already done. I used to think I had a high tolerance for discomfort. Some people crochet. Some bake artisan bread. Me. I've got a black belt in swallowing things whole, slapping on a smile, and making excuses. Especially when it comes to family. Especially when it came to Andrew. When we met, he seemed solid. The type who knows how to change a tire, fix a leaky faucet, opens doors without making a show of it, and keeps his word. He was polite, attentive, carried himself like he actually knew what he was doing. Divorced 2 boys but no drama. According to him, his ex was a good woman, just not a match. Sure, these days I'd ask whose match didn't line up with basic boundaries. We got married a year later. Not in a whirlwind. It felt like a thoughtful choice. He said he wanted a fresh start. I was the one who could help him turn that page. A year after that, Amelia was born. The brightest, gentlest baby you could imagine. She smiled in her sleep, giggled at shadows. And I thought, this is it. This is what a family feels like. And for a while it was. Almost. In the beginning, things were quiet. Andrew was fine. A decent dad, by the usual definition. Storybooks, shoulder rides, zoo trips. But only for his boys. Every Friday, Ben and Will would arrive. And every Friday, Amelia would fade into background noise. She was just a baby then, so I told myself it made sense. She won't remember. He's just missed his boys. I had a reason for everything. Another year. Then another. Eventually she started talking. Then singing, drawing. But weekends stayed the same. Boy club members only. Building sets, backyard picnics, yelling, running, laughter. And Amelia, quiet in the corner, drawing. And Andrew? Walked right past her. Not mean. Just absent. Once she handed him a picture she'd drawn. Her, Andrew, and the boys. He said, "That's nice, sweetie." And turned away. Ben needed batteries for his toy car. I told myself, he's tired. He just didn't notice. And I believed it. He never invited her to fix the fence. Never took her to the garage. Never taught her to ride a bike. Not because he refused, he just didn't even think to. That's not for you. It's Dad and the boys' stuff, Will said once, and Amelia lowered her eyes. Andrew didn't correct him. Or maybe he just didn't care to notice. Whenever she asked to tag along, it was always, "Later, sweetheart. The guys are busy right now." And later never came. I tried making her feel special. Picnics. Games. Just us adventures. But she still looked at him like he held the whole sky. With that tiny, hopeful, aching look. I tried talking to him. He always said the same thing. You don't want her to feel pressured to be with us, right? She needs her own space. Her own childhood. Space. She would have traded every toy she had just to ride along for pizza with them. And the worst part, she loved him. Not like a stepdad. He was dad. He called her his daughter sometimes. When he remembered. And she tried. God, she tried. She made him cards. Baked cookies with me for him. Asked what candy he liked so she could surprise him. She just wanted to belong. To be his. But he was always there, not with her. Never with her. Even on weekdays when the boys weren't around, he didn't really spend time with her. He'd scroll on his phone or tinker in the garage while she quietly drew at the kitchen table. Sometimes he'd say, "She's so quiet. Just like you," which was supposed to be sweet. To me it sounded like low maintenance. No effort required. And I kept smoothing it over. He's tired. He's adjusting. He's doing his best. His parents? Whole separate mess. At first I tried. Holiday dishes, cleaned up the kitchen, bought thoughtful gifts for the kids. Played the role. Amelia got from them what I got, polite smiles, a few generic words. Christmas? Ben got a racetrack. Will a tablet. Amelia? Colored pencils and a sketchbook. With love for our little artist. Sure. Then one day Will told Amelia, "You're not really Dad's daughter. He loves us. You're just extra." She ran to me sobbing. And for the first time I snapped. I told Andrew to talk to them. To explain. To hold her. To show up. He did. Sort of. Awkward. Stiff. Something like, "Don't say stuff like that. She's a nice girl." Nice girl. No weight. No warmth. Just air. Still I told myself, well, at least he said something. At least he didn't ignore it. And then nothing. Back to normal. Back to weekends with the boys. I kept telling myself, kids get jealous. It's normal. The boys just wanted their dad to themselves. It wasn't malice. Right? Still, I didn't sleep that night. And then there was the ex-wife. Always there. She called like a shift supervisor on duty. The bathroom's clogged. "Can you swing by, Andrew? Ben's got a tournament. Can you drive him? We're picking out paint for Will's room. You don't mind coming along, right?" And he went. Every time. Didn't even ask. One time I said, "Could you at least check if it works for me?" He looked at me, genuinely confused. "Holly, they're my kids." I wanted to say, "What about Amelia? What about me?" But I didn't. Because he was a good dad. Responsible. Involved. Right? Just not to everyone. I reminded myself, you knew what you signed up for. He had kids. A past. An ex. It was part of the package. He's a good father. That matters. Better this than the alternative. Better than a monster. Better than someone who doesn't care. I kept telling myself that. You get it? Meanwhile, I was helping with his parents' garden shop. A quaint little family business that needed some real structure. Enter me. The woman with a brain and a background in numbers. I handled their bookkeeping. Set up the mailing list. Did their taxes. Built them a damn website. One time they wanted to expand, new location, more space. They came up short. Guess who poured in all her savings? Because we're family. Because if not you, then who? Because we're a team, remember? My old CRV, the one I drove for years before Amelia was born, went to his parents. They need it more. So I started taking the bus to work. Because we're a family. Then I put us all, on one health insurance plan. Joint coverage. His parents included. Because it's easier this way. Because we're one family. Because, God help me, I still believed I was part of that equation. Until that weekend. The one where everything finally snapped into place. Where he shoved our daughter into the dirt. Where they all laughed. Where his mother said, she got in the way. And I finally understood. I'd been trying to protect something that never existed. I took Amelia home. Cleaned her hands and knees. Washed her jacket. She sat on the chair, staring at the floor. Didn't say a word. No complaints. No tears. And that's when I got scared. Not for her, for me. Because I'd almost gotten used to this. I sat down. Opened my notebook. Flipped to a blank page. Not revenge plan. Not how to burn it all down. I titled it, Exit Strategy. Because I wasn't a wife. I was a contribution. A nanny. A bookkeeper. A driver. A cleaner. A walking wallet. I was the convenient add-on to their well-oiled life. But never a part of it. And Amelia? She wasn't their granddaughter. Not really. Not their sibling. She was just an inconvenient variable in their happy little second chance at family formula. But guess what? I changed the math. Because I took myself out of the equation. I didn't tell him right away I was filing for divorce. Not because I was unsure. I just needed a minute. To breathe. To brush Amelia's hair, stitch her jacket, scrub the dirt stains out of her sleeves, and most importantly, count to 10 so I wouldn't scream. I told him the next morning. In the kitchen. Between coffee and oatmeal. I'm filing for divorce, I said. Calm. Flat. Like reading a weather update. He froze with the spoon halfway to his mouth. Looked at me like I'd just told him a meteor hit the stove. What? You heard me. Divorce. I'm submitting the paperwork today. I took a sip of my coffee. It was cold. He put the spoon down. Stood up like that somehow made it more serious. Holly, come on. This is about yesterday. I apologized. It was an accident. She just slipped. I didn't even realize what happened at first. She didn't slip. You pushed her. I didn't mean to. Honestly. I looked at him. The man I'd shared 8 years with. And suddenly realized he really, truly didn't think anything was wrong. In his head, it was just an incident. A blip. An unfortunate moment. Everything else. Perfect. He was comfortable, so I was supposed to be too. It's not just that, Andrew. That was just the final piece. The last puzzle snap. Now I see the whole picture. He sat back down. Stopped smiling. Holly, you know how hard I've tried. It's not that simple. We're a family. This is. He trailed off. You're just having a bad day. No, Andrew. I've had a bad 8 years. I wasn't yelling. Wasn't crying. Just telling the truth. I told him I felt more like his assistant than his wife. That to him, Amelia was a background character. That his parents used me but never included me. That I was done being convenient. That I had nothing left to give. And no reason to keep trying. He stared at me. Then said, So you're just leaving? I'm finally starting to live. I stood up, walked to the cabinet, and pulled out the folder. Divorce papers. Insurance termination forms. A repayment agreement for my investment. A letter to his parents. I'm pulling my investment. You'll have to handle the shop on your own. I'm removing myself from the bank accounts. I'm taking my car back. I'm ending the joint insurance plan. Everything I did for your family stops today. He went pale. You're serious? Dead serious. And then the real fun began. The calls started first sweet. Holly, sweetheart, maybe you're just overwhelmed. Let's sit down and talk. Don't do anything drastic, his mom purred. Then less sweet. Have you lost your mind? You're blowing up everything over one bad day. Then came the guilt. You're ungrateful. After everything we've done for you. We welcomed you into this family. And now you're just throwing it away. I requested repayment for the money I'd put into their shop. Not cash up front, just legal documentation. An official investment return agreement. That earned me a 7-minute voicemail from his mother. Which included, How could you? You're just too sensitive. And the cherry on top. A woman has to be flexible if she wants to keep a marriage. Flexible. Like a doormat. Or a yoga mat. Or anything else you wipe your shoes on. Then they showed up. Uninvited. Just stood at my door with a plate of cookies and fake smiles. His mother said, Don't do this, Holly. You'll regret it. I already regret it, I said. I just realized it too late. They didn't want to give the car back, of course. Turns out they'd quietly transferred the title to Andrew's father, without telling me. Convenient, right? I'm no lawyer, but even I know that's shady. Good thing I kept copies, registration, messages where they thanked me for the gift. My attorney said, More than enough. We're going to court. In the meantime, the house felt like walking on a live wire. Because divorce isn't instant. And Andrew refused to leave. I live here too. I'm not going anywhere. So he stayed. And his parents came by all the time, acting like nothing happened. Sitting in the kitchen, chatting, sighing dramatically. His mom would bring pumpkin pie and say, You're really going to ruin everything over one little scene? We accepted you. His dad would pat my shoulder. You're strong. Patient. Don't throw this away. Meanwhile, Andrew started playing Dad of the Year. Cooking Amelia breakfast. Reading to her. Taking her on bike rides. Acting like nothing ever happened. And she melted. Of course she did. Mom, maybe we shouldn't get divorced after all, she said one night. Dad's really nice. I stroked her hair and said, Dad can be kind. But sometimes kind people still do things that hurt us. And if someone keeps making you feel small, even when they're smiling, it means it's time to go. She didn't understand right away. I didn't expect her to. But the days went on. She started hearing things. Seeing things. The looks. The tension. The way her grandma whispered. Holly's always been ungrateful. Look how she treats you. She noticed how her dad forgot about her again. every time his sons showed up. She pieced it all together bit by bit. And one night she came up to me, quiet and serious, and said, "Mom, I don't want to live here anymore. It's quiet but not the good kind. It smells like anger. Can I live with you instead?" I almost cried. Instead I nodded, pulled her into a hug. "Always, sweetheart. Will I still get to see Dad?" "Of course. If you want to." That same night, I found us an apartment. Small, 2 bedrooms, bright living room, 10 minutes from her school. And we moved. Because sometimes, you don't wait for closure. You just get up and walk out. About a week after we moved out, the calls started. At first soft, almost careful. "Hey, Holly. It's me. I just wanted to talk. See how you're doing. Maybe we could meet. I've been thinking a lot. I see things clearer now." Deleted. No playback. Then came the long messages. Kind of funny if they weren't so sad. "You're right. I wasn't perfect. I want to change. Give me another chance for Amelia. For us. Us." As if that still existed. Then the panic started. But not from him. From them. His mother emailed me. Straight out of the manipulative matriarch playbook. "Holly dear, we've talked and agreed. This has all gone too far. The shop's hanging by a thread. We don't have the resources. I know you're upset, but don't punish us. You've always been kind. Please help us." I stared at it for a long time, then just forwarded it to my lawyer. Next came a voice message from his dad, dripping with compliments about my intelligence, my education, my grace. All the qualities, apparently, that made me qualified to bail out their failing business. He ended with, "You have to understand, this shop, it's part of the family legacy. It's for Amelia too. By pulling out, you're taking her inheritance. You'll regret that." That was their reality. Not me. Not Amelia. Just the business. The money. The benefits. I was valuable until I wasn't. Then Andrew showed up. No warning. Just standing at my door, holding a plastic bag like some sad version of himself. I opened because Amelia was at a sleepover, and I was home alone. And you know what? I wasn't even mad. "Hey," he said. "I won't stay long. I miss you. And I get it. I really do. I was selfish. But you weren't perfect either, Holly." How sweet. An apology garnished with blame. He talked for another 3 minutes. About Amelia. About us. About how miserable he was. Then came the real ask. "Let's not make this a whole production, okay? Let's just live apart for a while. Give it time. Don't rush into court." I nodded. Walked up to him. Looked him in the eyes. "Andrew," I said. "You were only ever a father to your sons. So be that. Keep doing what you're good at." Then I closed the door. Quietly. No slam. Just done. I turned on the kettle and went to mop the bathroom floor. Because sometimes cleaning something real keeps you from falling apart. After that, more voicemails. Emails. Some begging. Some threatening. His parents' garden shop, their proud little family legacy, closed 4 months after we left. Debt. Low sales. A few bad choices. The court hearing happened 6 months later. As fast as these things go, I got everything that was mine. The money. Custody of Amelia. My car. And most of all, peace. Andrew tried to drag it out. His lawyer pleaded with the judge. "Let's give the family a chance to heal." Mine handed over the receipts. Texts. Documents. 2 audio files. That was all it took. In one voice memo his mother said, "You owe us, Holly. We treated you like a daughter, and you stabbed us in the back. So ungrateful. I wish Andrew had never chosen you." In another, "A woman who leaves her husband and breaks up a family is not a good mother." And finally, "We'll make sure Amelia stays with Andrew. He needs her more than you." The recordings weren't for revenge. They were protection. One was a conversation with Andrew, one of his "let's talk it out" pop-ins. "You'll regret this, Holly," he said. Quiet voice. Ice underneath. "Without me, you're nothing. I could get you fired if I wanted to." Is that a threat? A warning? She's our daughter. You don't get to decide who she lives with. The second recording was a call between his mother and Amelia. I'd left my phone recording, accidentally. Or maybe not. "Tell Mommy you miss her, sweetie. Ask her to come back. You don't want to lose Daddy, do you?" That was enough. The judge raised an eyebrow. Andrew's lawyer deflated into his seat. And I just sat there calm. Not because I wasn't shaking, but because I didn't have to stay silent anymore. The ruling was brief, dry, and quietly beautiful. A few days later, Amelia and I went to the park. No plans. No pressure. No family agenda. She walked beside me, wearing her jacket with the patches we'd sewn together during movie nights. Hair blowing in the wind, cheeks pink, eyes clear. "Mom," she asked suddenly, "is it always going to be just us now?" I bent down, adjusted her hood. "It'll always be us, sweetie. Just us, and anyone who loves you the way you deserve." Then I smiled. "Besides just us? That's already pretty great, don't you think?" She nodded and took my hand. And in that moment, for the first time, I felt like I wasn't running anymore. Not escaping, just walking forward. With her. And that was enough. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you. Really. I'd love to know what you think. Did I do the right thing? Would you have done it differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every one. And if this story hit something real for you, consider subscribing. It helps more than you know. Thanks for being here. Take care of yourself and of the people who truly show up for you.